Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This is Talking High Culture. We are here to discuss the aesthetic, history, art, literature, news, and many other topics relative to cannabis culture with the intention to educate and appreciate. And we also get really high.
Let's get high. Let's just
Yeah.
rip it.
Let's do it.
Here
What are
we
we smoking on today, boys?
Things to smoke on.
I believe that we're starting off with this lovely, lovely Jack Herrera from Cam today. Which thank you for this. I don't know which one of you guys got this, but I believe it was you said it was a donation from like the brand itself, like is like kind of a promo deal kind of thing, right?
Oh, it's part of typical staff samples.
Okay.
Right? But courtesy of Cam and the fact that Cam always supplies a really good flower to the shop. It's one of the better brands that we do have available there.
cheers, ladies and gentlemen.
Anybody in chat tonight? I'm on chat duty tonight. So you got something to say to the boys? Just hit that chat line. I got eyes on you.
And if you've been a fan of us for a little bit, we all love our Jack Herrera's, that NF1 smell, like that citrusy, piney. You know that's among the top tier for fucking THC crew over here.
You know Jack Herrera is among us.
And goddamn, so Cam is saying that their Jack Herrera is a Haze Northern Lights cross a Haze with a Northern Lights number 5 cross with a Shiva skunk. So, and then they're saying their THC levels about 30%. They don't list their CBD or their terps, but
So
motherfucker, you can smell that.
it's Haze, Northern Lights, and what else?
Hey, it's a Haze Northern Lights number 5 cross, and then that is mixed with a Shiva skunk.
Shiva Skunk sounds good.
Yeah, Shiva skunk's cool. That's the first time I've honestly ever heard that type of strain.
When we first cracked open the jar to take a peek of the smell, it was piney as Jack Herrera typically is. But what was really interesting about that particular piney that I was getting off of that is it kind of just felt like just pine, just sweet grass. Like it didn't feel like it had too much of a funky or cannabis undertone. Like just like smelling it, which of course you want your weed to smell like weed and you want it to have a good funk to it. But sometimes it's very surprising when it's just like, dude, that doesn't even smell like weed, right?
Sure.
And that kind of got me closer to that aspect of sorry, that flower didn't quite smell so much like weed, which is surprising in a good way.
So I have a question that just popped into my head. What was the first situation in which you were um around weed or like introduced to weed? Because it's different for a lot of people, I feel, because it could be as simple as my parents were smoking a joint outside. Could be pretty complex, like my brother's story that I'm sure he would love to share. Um, uh, I can't seem to think. I think one of the first times in which that I actually heard about it but didn't really see it was one of my friends in elementary school. I think he was in fifth. I was in fifth grade. He was in sixth grade. So I was in elementary school still, and he said, uh, "Yeah, we got weed from this one fool," and he said he had it in like a little dime bag in his shirt, but I didn't really get to see it. But I knew he had weed. But the first time that I actually saw weed, it was just shake, and it was bullshit. And we smoked it. Nothing crazy, nothing too intense.
I know for my first time, I was probably like 6th grade, 5th grade, like real young like that, and we stumbled across my buddy's his parents' backyard in their garden. We knew what the leaves looked like because of like dare shit and all that, you know what I mean? But we knew nothing about like buds, anything like that was never shown in any of like the anti-drug videos. You know what I mean? Growing up, they only showed you what the leaves look like, that 5-star leaf and everything. They never showed you like, oh no, it's the bud and like that's the flower and everything. So we thought, oh, let's just pick these leaves off, his dad's plant that we see growing in the garden.
That's some little kid shit, bro.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just picked the leaves off and like we tried to like go immediately in the woods and smoke it, and like it wasn't really doing
That's
anything.
some
Like
little
we
kid
couldn't,
shit right there. Yeah.
and yeah, we never tried again until like a lot later
See,
in life.
you didn't see, you saw the raw plant. You didn't see the fucking processed nugs that like they're
Yeah.
talking about. You see, you know.
Had no idea.
Yeah, see, for me, we were hella sheltered growing up, and then when we finally moved off base, and I had a chance to finally like see what all this shit people were talking about was, I saw weed for the first time walking home from 7th grade, and these kids were like smoking out of an apple. And all I remember is I like walked by and I saw them hold up this bag, and in this bag was like a thin line of like green, and I was like, "That's fucking weed," and I was like, "No way." And then so at that point, I knew that there was weed around. Like
Mhm.
where I live, people smoke weed, and so a couple like months go by, I meet my now brother-in-law, who's like brother was hella into weed because he grew up around here, and so he put me on weed. And I picked the best person to hang out with to start smoking weed with because they always had it and they were always down to like help me. And like, if I got
And
too
like
fucked
teach
up,
you,
they'd
like
be like,
educate
"Hey,
you.
you're good, bro. Like we got you, type shit." So it wasn't until like 7th grade I saw it, but I really wasn't around it all the time until I like started high school.
Yeah, that's kind of similar experience to me. Sixth to 7th grade, somewhere in between there, is when I first found out about it. I was with a friend who lived down the street from me. His older brother was selling to another friend of his in their room. Me and him were playing Game Boy at the time, and then we heard the word weed. Me and my friend looked at each other and we're like, we've heard of weed before, but we didn't really know what it was. So we just kind of like peeped in to see what they were doing and what they were talking about. And his older brother was cool, right? He's all like, "Oh, well, this is all it is. It's just a plant, right? It's just to chill, right?" He didn't think about anything as like medicine. He's just like, we just do it to chill. Like that's all we do. We sit on the couch, we chill, we watch South Park. And I thought that was cool, right? Yeah. I
Like,
thought that was
what
cool.
else could you want at that age?
They, I think, went out in the backyard to smoke. Right, they had to have been like no more than 15 years old at the time. They went out in the backyard to smoke. Me and my friend, we went back into the living room playing our Game Boy. They came back in, turned on South Park, right? All cracking up, all busting up, laughing all the time. And it wasn't until like maybe 6 months later that I actually tried it for the first time with them, and that's exactly what we did. Watch South Park and crack up.
That sounds like a pretty average first time experience with weed, honestly. That's funny though, is because when I started smoking, we weren't about any of the medicinal effects about it at all. We didn't even know. Like when I first started smoking weed, like the whole medicine side of it and how it helps you with this and that, and it didn't even know. We were just trying to get fucked up, and we just knew that got you fucked up. And then yeah, those first couple of highs, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, now I see why people love this thing.
Going you To use medicine as a tangent, we have a lot of history behind cannabis, a lot of medical history. We use it recreational, right? But we do have to acknowledge that there is a medicinal component to cannabis. We talk about it all the time on the podcast, and that's what a lot of people use it for. Yes, us younger crowd, under a certain age group, probably does use it more recreationally, but a certain age group, past a certain age group, um, there's usage for medicinal aspects. Or after a certain age, people start using it medicinally.
I
And
feel like if you use it recreationally for long enough, it becomes medicinal at that at a certain point.
and then another aspect to that is there are old cats in the game who fought to make cannabis legal, who fought to uh, push cannabis in the medical aspect so that it's accepted recreationally the way that it is today. And just one person that I want to shout out, and this is what we're going to use to segue into the first topic that we have, is Jack Herrera, right? So we're smoking Jack Herrera from Cam, an indoor strain we're smoking Jack Herrera from Cam, a very popular brand here in the state of California, really good flower, indoor quality. They have named this strain after a very prominent person in cannabis history. And that's who I want to just take a moment to talk about and give a little bit of background onto why this particular strain would be named after anyone named Jack Herrera. For anybody who doesn't know, and I'm pretty sure there are people out there who are watching, is like, dude, we know who Jack Herrera is. It's like, bear with us for a second. All right, so let's go ahead and just switch over to that. Um, right before we do go into it, are any of you guys familiar with Jack Herrera as a person?
No
Or,
idea.
oh, cool.
Actually, yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, wrong webpage.
I feel like I've probably heard about him sober, but like that information is kind of just like lost in my brain.
Cool. So we have a from cannaculturecollective.com, right? They are a dispensary and cannabis information chain in the state of California. Jack Herrera, the man behind the strain, Cannaculture. Jack Herrera is a popular sativa dominant strain of cannabis that is named after a popular American cannabis activist whose grassroots efforts led to cannabis's legalization for medicinal and recreational use. While many enjoy this award winning strain in the form of flower, oil, or concentrates, they might not have heard the full story of the man this strain is named after, the one who's been Don, the emperor of hemp. So,
The Emperor.
boom. Um, to briefly go over, we have a bit of brief history going over Jack's early life. He has a organization, I believe, called Grass that he worked with or began. Uh, the Emperor Who Wears No Clothes as a book he wrote. We'll get into that a little bit. Hemp is another organization that he worked with, HEMP. Posthumous victory. So we'll go over to what happens after his death. That we'll go over what happens after his death that he paved the way for. And then we'll probably cut it off after number 4 there. So, history of hemp in America. Before I go on, is there anybody else who wants to tackle it?
I'll read it.
Okay.
Alrighty, starting from the top here. History of hemp in America. To understand Jack Herrera's legacy, we must first delve into what he was advocating for and against. Found in thread and rope from 4000 BCE, archaeologists believe the cultivation of hemp played a vital role in many ancient civilizations. Hemp was cultivated in temperate regions of Eurasia for thousands of years and was first brought to North America in 1606, where it was farmed in European settlements in modern day USA and Canada. A popular crop in the original colonies, hemp was used to make rope, paper, and apparel. Theories persist that Betsy Ross's original 13 colonies flag was made from hemp, as were the first 2 drafts of the Declaration of Independence. In fact, hemp was so popular and widely sown that in 1765 it replaced the cultivation of tobacco at George Washington's home of Mount Vernon. Washington's famous saying, "Make the most of the Indian hemp seed and sow it everywhere," would later become an oft repeated phrase of Jack Herrera.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I really,
Let's
I
go,
was
George
not,
W.
yeah, I was not familiar that George Washington had a famous saying.
Yeah, the Declaration of Independence was made out of hemp, bro. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Um, while the hemp industry was confined to Kentucky from the end of the Civil War until 1912, hemp cultivation rose during World War I, expanding to 12 states. However, in 1938, the U.S. passed the Marijuana Tax Act, placing marijuana under the control of the Treasury Department. Farmers required a permit to grow cannabis. Farmers required a permit to grow cannabis. Though World War II saw a brief resurgence in hemp production for items such as parachutes and other textiles, the 1938 legislation effectively eliminated hemp production in the states once the war ended. In 1970, the US government nailed what many saw as the final nail in hemp's coffin and passed the Controlled Substance Act, which criminalized all uses of cannabis, even medicinal. It is here a 31 It is here a 31-year-old Jack Herrera begins his lifelong efforts. Dude, I can't read that. I'm fucking lit right now.
All right.
Or you're illiterate.
Illiterate. Jack's early life. Jack Herrera was born in Brooklyn, New York on June 18th, 1939. After being raised in Buffalo, New York, Jack joined the U.S. Army at age 17, where he was a military policeman during the Korean War. In his own words, Jack was a Goldwater Republican at this stage of his life, speaking out against anti war protesters through most of the 60s, even naming his eldest son Barry. After a divorce at the age of 27, Jack moved to California and resided there for the majority of his life. In the summer of 1969, at the age of 30, Jack had his first experience with cannabis, smoking what he called the Sammy Davis Jr. strain of Acapulco Gold. From this watershed experience, Jack Herer became what friends called a most vigorous zealot. Zealot?
Zealot.
Zealot?
Zealot.
What's a zealot?
Damn.
A zealot is someone who's like a religious fanatic.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Who's a zealot
So he's a weed fanatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, kind of like me.
So
weed is religion. Correct.
looks like so next is grass.
Yep.
So in 1973, when he was working with California Marijuana Initiative, Jack made a commitment with friend and business partner Ed Ayer that they would continue working until cannabis was legalized or until they were 84 years old or until death. Let's go. Jack co authorized Grass, Great Revolutionary American Standard System, a cartoon strip that was the official guide for assessing the quality of cannabis on a 1 to 10 scale. This widely read cartoon strip sent Jack Herrera into semi celebrity status. When he opened the world's first hemp store in Venice Beach, his celebrity status was further solidified. At this hemp store, Herrera invented different smoking accessories, immersed himself in a study of all things cannabis, and launched campaigns for cannabis legalization.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, dude, really a fucking G.
On a quick side note, it's cool that he started this off co-authorized, yeah, or co-authored, right? A cartoon strip. Logan and I were just discussing earlier how we had ideas for turning talking high culture into a cartoon strip, and in such a way where we just kind of use our regular camera overlays and just use like maybe an AI art film.
filter.
Exactly. To give us more of an artsy pop look, and then just cut or just edit dialogue over that. Right.
So, the emperor wears no clothes.
Oh, yeah, just screwed it for you.
From here, Jack Herrera began what he would later call his biggest achievement in life. After more than a decade spent researching and organizing and condensing all the facts, Jack Herrera published his now epochal book, The Emperor Wears No Clothes. First published in 1985, the book explores the real reasons that led to the criminalization of hemp in the U.S. Herrera's book includes Herrera's book includes source documents from congressional hearings in the 1930s that show how the 1937 Marijuana Act was railroaded through legislation. He explores the idea that with DuPont's advent of nylon, the petroleum industry had unique interests to undermine hemp cultivation after World War I. With the criminalization of hemp, Herrera claims that 80% of DuPont's products can freely exist. He goes on to say not only are hemp industry
Sam.
He goes on to say not only are hemp industrial goods in higher quality and efficiency, but that if petroleum products were replaced with hemp products, the greenhouse effect would reverse and global pollution would begin to decline. While the book was criticized by skeptics at the time, Jack Herrera posed a challenge on the back cover to any doubter who read his book: $100,000 to anyone who can disprove the claims made within. Legend says the $100 check still remains uncashed.
I mean, hey, that's one way of
That $100 check. God damn it. $100,000 check.
They know what you meant.
What kind of did say check?
Yeah. All right, hemp. The strain is born. Herrera's book spread like a wildfire through the California cannabis movement. Soon, Jack's words led to more activists and outreach movements. Herrera founded and served as director of the organization Help End Marijuana Prohibition, or HEMP, which acted as a principal voice in rallying the legalization movement throughout the U.S. From his efforts, Jack Herrera became a folk legend in the cannabis community. His words and notoriety stretched across the Atlantic to aid in the European legalization of cannabis movements. His influence led to Sensei Seeds, a Dutch cannabis seed bank founded in 1985 to cultivate the now famous Jack Herrera strain. While the exact formula is a well guarded industry secret, Jack Herrera is thought to be the product of Haze, Northern Light Number 5, and Shiva Skunk.
Oh,
The sativa dominant hybrid has between 15 to 24% THC and smells of awakening orange lemon scent while emitting a dark pine flavor. Consumers experienced a well balanced cerebral and body high that leaves them attentively relaxed. This feeling leads to waves of creativity and sociability. Jack Herrera is easily enjoyed as a daytime pick me up to help reinvigorate your energy, retune your focus, and relax your ailments. Due to its flavor effects and medicinal properties, Jack Herrera is widely popular strain for novice to seasoned cannabis consumers, winning 9 Cannabis Cup titles.
I want to go ahead and interject.
Bruh,
Yeah.
you smell this?
Something.
Orange lemon is that, dude, with
Yeah.
some pine mixed in, dude. It is that. That's what that is.
So to reiterate from the beginning, this
Disturbing smell.
to reiterate from the beginning, so this is California Artisanal Medicine, a very popular cannabis brand here in California. And the strain that they have listed on here is the actual Jack Rare. So they have able to procure the legitimate Sensi seeds from Dutch origin, it seems. Interesting. Posthumous victory. So now we're going to go ahead and go into after death. Do we got any in the chat? Let me in the chat. Yeah. I'll wait till enter vote.
So, posthumous victory. Having lived in California for the majority of his life, Jack saw the state as his home. With his 2 hemp stores, one in Venice Beach and the other in Van Nuys, Herrera's base of operations was set in the Golden State. It was here he made a pact to spend the rest of his life fighting for legalization. It was here he researched and gathered all the materials necessary to publish what would be his most cherished achievement and challenge the sea of skeptics to prove him wrong. It was here he awakened a new generation of activists and organizers to spearhead grassroots efforts and enact societal change. It was here on November 9th, 2016, the Adult Use of Marijuana Act was passed, legalizing personal use and cultivation of cannabis for anyone 21 years or older. While those who knew Jack and revered his work celebrated, they did so in his memory. Jack Herrera had passed away 6 years prior at the age of 71. Although Jack did not get to reap the seeds he had spent most of his life sowing, the cannabis movement would not have submitted the mountains we stand on today without his work. Jack's name lives on in his work and in the strain that has brought so many people to his work. Jack Herrera embodies the energy and focus of a man who never relented, never faltered, and always persisted, even in spirit, to reacquaint mankind with an old friend.
We love Jack Herrera at THC. Oh yeah, Jack Herrera.
We're smoking you, Jack. Love you, buddy.
Love you,
We
dog.
smoking on that Jack Herrera. We love you.
Rest in peace. Rest in pot. I think it's very interesting and very sad that he passed away. What would that be in 2010? And not being able to fully, see the recreational legalization fully enacted. However, it was built on his back.
He didn't get to see his efforts come to fruition.
He definitely carried the entire cannabis culture up till on his back up until here. By yeah. Well, maybe not by himself, but a lot due to his efforts, right? Cannabis does.
He was carrying a lot of people
Yeah.
in his backpack.
Exactly.
All right, guys. This is for the clips for YouTube. So bear with me here for a second. Have you guys heard of Jack Herrera? Sorry. Oops. All right. What are you gonna do? Or what should you say?
Jack Herrera? Who's that?
Here's what you need to know about Jack Herrera.
Like, follow, and subscribe.
We could use that.
Yeah.
Tonight we're smoking on Jack Herrera and rest in pot, my friend.
Rest in pot to a real motherfucker.
Let me actually take a hit really quick before we go on to the next one.
Let's smoke.
Yeah, smoke before we go on to the next article.
I'm about to pack the bowl with some JH. If you know what
So,
JH is.
chat, let us know. Please like, comment, subscribe. Ask if this is more history type stuff that we want to get into and let people know about the background of cannabis culture.
and how we got here today. I think it's very important that we know the background of what's actually coming into our bowls.
Coming into our bowls.
I think it's important to know the background of what we're smoking, what we're putting into our bodies.
There you go. There you go.
Who's doing what in my bowls?
Oh God, we have 7 people watching right now. If you are in the chat and you're smoking along with us, go ahead and shoot over into the chat box there and tell us what you're smoking on. We'd love to hear from you.
Give us a like too.
Oh yeah, the smoke. Hey,
Let us know your.
it's not that yet.
Let us know if you have any favorite memories of Jack Herrera, any type of strains like that that you like really favor, or if you know any history on any other strains that you really enjoy. We'll cover those too. If you guys want to give us topics, like we're always down to deep dive into strains.
Well, it's a little bit of a tease for what we got later on.
My name Dave.
But we got these rose cone blunts. What? Yeah,
Rose blunts.
rose blunt.
Rolled in roses.
How's it gonna work?
I gotta figure out how to do it.
I always think of every time I hear rose, I think of that song from Seal.
Kissed by a rose on a
That go?
baby. Kiss.
Maybe we're not
I don't know all the words. I don't know all the words. Is it just the cone?
Yeah, it's just a cone. I don't know how to work it.
It's just the cone. No weed.
Yes.
You don't know how to work
We
the
got
cone?
stuff.
You have to remove the paper, but the paper's not coming out cleanly, so I don't want to. I don't want to accidentally rip it.
That's what she said.
No, we'll just smoke regular.
This what? Right,
Christopher,
this is a family-friendly fucking
My bad.
stream. Family.
You should know
takes a rip of
That's
massive
fine.
bongs. Actually, yeah, cannabis is family friendly.
Takes a rip from the massive wall. Oh, I can pack the shit up good as weed.
Taking rips.
You choke and your lungs start to bleed.
Taking rips.
The night is the mood.
Taking rips.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't mind us. That was just a moment.
We're just rambling.
Bear with us. We're moving to the next article.
We had one of those moments. You know what
There's
I mean?
nothing in here.
But you get to see a little bit of like the raw, like random us when we're just like
42.0 Talking High Culture Live. We got Chris, we got Ricky, and we have Marco. I'm here, 8:44 at night, trying to figure out what the fuck we're gonna do next, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I'm just trying to get a bowl ready.
Marco's just trying to get a bowl ready. What are you doing over there, Ricky?
Watching Marco get a bowl ready.
Watching Marco get a bowl ready. How's that working out for you?
Yeah, good.
It seems to be working. My eyes seem to be working. His fingers seem to be working. So yes, things seem well over on this side of the table. What do you got going on over there in your neck of the woods, Chris?
Christopher Schoolmeister, you want to take it away?
I've been trying to push this motherfucker to hit that bonk so it was still cherried for a little bit, but now he lost the cherry, so he just like wasted a little bit of weed right there. Little bitch ass motherfucker. Yeah. What the fuck? You entitled? Sorry, I'm cursing too much. Let me rein it in. Let me rein it in. Family friendly. We just discussed this.
See? We lost all those viewers because of you, Chris.
No. No, it's okay.
It's plugged.
But anyway, so we also got some snacks on deck. What's the munchie menu for tonight? Chat, let us also know what's your go-to munchies tonight? Like what are you smoking on? Like what's it got you munching on? Looks like we got trail mix, some nerds, some sour gummies. Like honestly, pretty solid choices, I feel like. Evens everything out.
Tropical trail mix.
Little choppy trail.
Well, Tropi Trail. Tropi Trail.
See, so it looks like we got next article coming up about the Supreme Court asked to settle differing interpretations of federal medical marijuana protections amid lower court discrepancy.
Okay, hold on, Chris. Do you have another bowl by chance? Yeah.
The bowl's clogged. She didn't clear it beforehand.
No.
When you've done that.
Chris,
You're a rookie, that's why.
No, I just didn't think about it.
Yeah.
I just knocked out the weed bed.
Give me a moment. I know.
Knock it back
I
out.
know where I have the lighter with the poke.
Might as well knock it back out. If that's gonna be, if it's the weed already in the bowl, then
All right,
it's a shame to
okay.
knock it out.
Okay. All right, lotion.
That's a new one.
It's not new. He's been using that for a while now. He thinks he's fucking clever. But he's not clever enough to clear the bong before packing it.
Lotion.
With the lighter, bro.
I know. I'm just trying to make sure that I get some kind of air clearance.
No, you hit it with the lighter.
I already did that.
Do it again.
It's not gonna take out the weed that's in the middle of the hole.
Let me see it. If you have weak lungs, it might not. You won't give it over?
No, I got it.
They got it.
Are you sure?
I gotta clear the path.
Okay, clock log.
See?
Give it over.
You're up poker.
Oh, he got the Marco.
The Marco
Magic.
Express.
I usually keep it in my car, so
Bro,
if I'm out with anybody, I can kind of like hold up as a little flex.
I'm low key embarrassed.
Yeah, you should be.
I also had it in my pocket.
I also had it in my pocket. I also had it in my pocket. Exactly, bro. Exactly. He just walked all the way to his car. Marco should feel that bad. Did you actually clear it?
Look at him not even fucking want to look.
Watch it still not be clear.
He won't even look up.
Watch it.
won't even look.
Look him in his ojos, bro.
I'm sorry, dude.
Marco's kryptonite is admitting when he's wrong.
Huh?
Marco's kryptonite is admitting when he was wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
No, he's right.
It's okay.
You fucking.
My kryptonite is tig old bitties.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's cool. That's a clip right there, though, too.
oh shit.
That's part of the whole clip.
He's good. He's good.
No, you're not passing. That's probably a bad bowl. I think you might have packed like hair in there or something.
God, bro.
Go to the bathroom, bro.
It's just,
What'd you pack your hopes and dreams in here?
it's just.
Oh my god.
I've never seen you like this. Marco.
It was a large cloud.
I know we've been doing this
No, I
podcast
think-
for a long time.
You had to have put hair in there or something, bro. There's no way that should have hit like that. It's not normal. It wasn't just a big pump. Bumping and shit. You can't tell me that was a normal cloud. Don't hit that shit. Hit that. Do not hit that bowl. Just leave that shit in there.
No, it wasn't the.
that bowl. Yeah, I know it wasn't the weed. That's what I was saying. It was like you packed hair in there or something.
What's the goal that made me do that? Jackass. It wasn't.
Oh my god.
Then what was it?
I just died. What's
I
the-
burped in the middle of me taking the hit while the hit was so fucking full.
I don't know.
You can play it back. You can see the moment where I kind of do it, right?
Let's see an instant replay of that.
That was pretty crazy. That was pretty crazy.
That's fucking
I wish I
hilarious.
was lined up.
We'll watch that later. I'm gonna watch that later when I'm trying to see.
See, look, I'm look. I'll even go through it. Yeah, no, it's just weed. It's fine.
Well, I mean, the hair would be gone. Trying to find hair? Are you serious?
Burnt, that shit was burned up like
We smoked it all.
He's like, dude, the hair is gone. There's no hair on here.
Smoked it all.
How high are you? This Jack Herrera got you.
that was the hardest I've laughed in.
That was scary, dude.
Well,
that was
that was like the
scary.
other day when you were choking.
Holy shit. God no. Alright, we gotta recover.
Yeah, that was the thing.
fuck.
That just took like a lot. Holy sh-
Back
To reality.
I'm cleaning the bowl.
That's love.
Yeah.
What is love? Cleaning the bone. The bone.
Yeah, the bowl.
I don't want Logan thinking there's any Karen here.
No, dude. I don't fucking like hit bowls and like cough like that and like after inhaling it unless there's a hair in there or something foreign that shouldn't be in there.
Like beef.
Beef bulgogi.
Beef lot from the 5-story.
Okay. Well, chat.
Well, we got a lot of clips tonight so far.
Oh.
For sure.
All right. Well, I'm not embarrassing myself by editing clips of myself doing that. So
Oh. Come on.
you guys are gonna have to edit that one.
It comes out by like tonight. I edit that up tonight.
Before we
No, if anybody in the chat, if you clip that, you're go. I'll send you $1.
Seeing as how
I'll
that's
send you $5. I'll send you $5 if you can edit any of it.
I'll raise that to 10. So $15 if you guys can edit that clip up. $15. I'll send you it. Dead ass.
We got you.
But you guys.
But somebody's got to clip that and send that to us.
Yeah.
I'm not sending you shit.
If you guys know what we're talking about because you're watching, then you know we're not gonna tell you guys, but we're gonna send you $15 if you edit that up. All of us send you $15.
No, the fuck I'm not.
Between me and Logan, we'll send you.
I'm not sending you nothing.
Nothing.
But also, like,
Oh, my
you got
phone
you got
almost
you
dead.
got to like chat too.
These fucking ash folios.
I was looking at those when I went to the shop,
Don't
but I
ever
feel like
buy
I didn't want to buy it because I felt like it was a waste.
It is. We smoked one the other day. It was the worst thing ever.
Yeah, it ran like a bitch, bro.
Glad my intuition was right.
Bro, it's not worth the price that you would pay for it.
Yeah.
Light
I can imagine if you had a bad experience, it's not even worth it that you get it.
lights evenly my ass.
That was a sample, yeah. And it just not. Are we smoking it today? Should we smoke it right now?
Damn.
Damn. What was that about? Okay.
Yeah. He's like, yeah.
Dude, okay, sorry. That gave me the same energy as I was actually at Save Mart the other day, and this dude was cleaning his belt at the checkout, like the fucking belt that you put the conveyor belt or whatever. Cleaning it, just looking at it like this, and I'm like, his light is on. His light is visibly on. I'm like, ooh, can I come in? I guess. And I was just like, never mind, we're going to the next one. I think it was me and Marco. Was that with me and you? That might have been the night that we had flowers, that we got flowers.
The same one you said?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Remember that? I think that was with me and you. Yeah.
Like, well, where else am I gonna fucking go?
Yeah. No, there was 2 lanes open, but he was open, and he was just like, there was nobody there, so I was like, hey, like, I mean, I see that you're cleaning, but like, hey, what's up? Like, can I come in? And he was like, I guess, and didn't even look at me. And I like stood there for a second. I was like, yeah, I'm not vibing with this. Like, this fool clearly doesn't want me to be over here. And dude, even when I went into the other line, he still didn't look up. And I was like, damn, this fool's having a bad night. I wonder what's happening, going on.
Sounds weak.
That's when I'm like, hey, you work at Save Mart.
Hey,
You're having a shitty night. You work at Save Mart. Remember that.
you could work at McDonald's.
You can work at Panda Express and make way more.
You you just go around telling everybody how much people at Panda Express make. You're like, hey, you work at the post office, but do you know the assistant managers at Panda Express make up to $41 an hour?
Yo, you might be like slanging cars, but did you know Panda Express
Hires at $23 an hour starting out.
41? That ain't
Chris
no.
is pondering it right now.
Actually, a little bit.
He's about to jump ship.
Legitimately, that's not a bad. I mean, you'd be making bank, huh? That'd be doubling your income, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It'd be doubling my income. It'd literally be doubling my income.
Not got with mine.
Ah, mine.
Wouldn't be done with mine. It'd be like couple dollars. Couple dollars with mine, bro. You probably be making 120. But I guess only a percentage of mine.
Nothing to me,
Only 10% of what I make. Shit.
Here, burn yourself
Bro.
a humble.
Nothing to me, man.
Dude, who's making 120 to fucking like architects? Like fucking astronauts? Who's making 120 an hour? Honestly, it's like underwater welders. I think they're making like 200 an hour.
Somebody in the Supreme Court,
Remember Nancy Pelosi?
Pansy Pelosi. What?
Nancy Pelosi.
Supreme Court asked to settle different.
He still died over here. He's so
You
covered.
choking on that coom?
Supreme Court asked to settle differing interpretations of federal medical marijuana protections amid lower court discrepancy. Marijuana moment. Chris, take it away.
In a case that could help clarify.
Go on, Chrissy.
My name's Chris, and I'm saying things. All right, here we go. In a case that can help clarify the boundaries of a federal law that protects.
All right.
Enough for the clip. In a case that could protect. Fuck! Why are you fucking it up? Oh, okay, here we go. Sorry, guys. We're trying to get through this. In a case that can help clarify the boundaries of a federal law that protects state legal medical marijuana activity from a prosecution by the federal government, a Maine man is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to review a dispute in which the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, investigated and subsequently charged him under the Federal Controlled Substance Act. In a petition to the High Court filed last week, Lucas Sorois asserts that the Rohrabacher-Farr Amendment, which has been enacted into federal law via spending bills since late 2014, should prevent DOJ from pursuing its case against him. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the First Circuit previously ruled against Sorois, but his lawyers assert that that was an error. Sorois was charged in 2021 with a laundry list of offenses stemming from business as a licensed medical marijuana provider, his position says. Since his arrest, he's protested that his prosecution is in violation of the Rohrabacher-Farr Amendment, an appropriations rider that prevents DOJ from spending to prevent states with legal medical marijuana from implementing their own laws that authorize the use, distribution, possession, or cultivation of medical marijuana. Jesus, motherfucking Christ.
So this guy.
Are you good over there, Dad?
Yeah. So this guy is responsible for prevention. Uh, okay, so this guy is a roadblock. The Soroy character is a roadblock in the cannabis industry. He's not someone who is necessarily an advocate for what we've got going on here.
God damn you. To heck.
It's slowly scrolling, sorry. I don't know why it's going so slow.
I don't know where I'm at.
And it's going to be in the Supreme Court petition, but I'm going to pull it up to the top.
So, in the Supreme Court petition, Sorois argues that the government's actions in this case violate Rohrabacher-Farr, resulting in DOJ spending funds not appropriated by Congress. Therefore, DOJ's actions were invalid by the Court of Appeals for the First Circuit must be reversed. While it is up to Supreme Court justices whether to take the case in the petition notes that there's currently a split between First Circuit and Ninth Circuit courts with respect to the marijuana rider. Such conflicts typically increase the likelihood that the Supreme Court will weigh in. This case presents an opportunity for the court to resolve the circuit split and provide a definitive and interpretation of Congress's language. The petition says contending justices can settle the substantial uncertainty that exists related to the protections afforded to the medical marijuana patients, distributors, cultivators, and regulators pursuant to the Rohrabacher-Farr Amendment.
So, a lot of different states have been using the current legal interpretation of cannabis to do as much as they can for medical patients and anybody who needs cannabis for a medicinal purpose. This guy Soroy, he is muddying that up and strictening up the way that they classify how cannabis can essentially be utilized, making it not making states not be able to use their own money to making states not be able to use their own money to appropriate um, cannabis in a more medicinal aspect towards people. Go ahead and go back, Chris. Continue. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you went all the way down the bottom, huh? Oh,
yeah.
what the fuck?
Órale, pues.
And then
Oi!
Pinche cabrón.
Sarah obtained a medical marijuana caregiver license in Maine in 2010 and later obtained a historical building in Farmington that he converted into a cannabis cultivation facility, according to his petition. Individual caregivers rented rooms in the building and sold marijuana at wholesale prices in Sarah's businesses, Lakemont LLC, which then sold it to patients. In 2018, a suspect in a separate investigation mentioned Sirwa as someone with an extremely large grow operation, it says, which prompted DOJ to open an investigation. In 2020, the DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration, raided the facility with an agent claiming in his application for a search warrant that the Rohrabacher-Farr Amendment does not apply because members of the conspiracy traffic in both marijuana and cocaine. Though no evidence of cocaine-related conduct was ever found in the petition assets, the federal government filed charges related to his cultivation and distribution of marijuana under the CSA. Despite Sirwa raising the Rohrabacher-Farr defense, the trial court ruled against him, concluding that a reasonable mind might agree that the DOJ's investigation of him was warranted because of his apparent noncompliance with a 2011 state law prohibiting medical marijuana collectives. Sarwas argues that his conduct fell outside the technical definition of collectives and involved only permissible, non-collective arrangements and activities, noting that the state regulators did not find him to be in violation of state regulations during the DOJ investigation.
There was holding on the play, 15 yards for the offense.
What's going on here is because of the way that cannabis was lumped in with drugs like cocaine during this time, he was found to be in violation of the law, and he is saying that, hey, well, not only were we not engaging in any kind of hard illicit drugs, not relating to cocaine or anything at all to begin with, but also what they were doing was completely well within states' rights in operating and how they were operating as a non-collective cannabis production and cannabis production organization. And I think that that is his main argument here, is to say, hey, look, well, now that it's not classified in the same level as these other drugs, the ruling on my case should be overturned, is what he's essentially saying. So that's why it's going all the way up to the Supreme Court, because this was a high profile, high level case at the time, in cannabis culture. And they're now that it's no longer seen as this other type of drug, he believes that, again, it should be overturned.
Oh, we got a chat. No way.
Of course.
Oh, this fucking guy.
This is some weird chat.
Go for it.
In its opinion,
Yeah. Fine. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
in its opinion, the First Circuit that said that the party seeking an injunction pursuant to the Rohrabacher-Farr Amendment bears the burden of demonstrating that the challenged DOJ action would prevent a state from giving practical effect to its medical marijuana laws. Further, it said evidence in the case tended to show that Soroy was in fact operating as a collective in violation of Maine's own regulations. The new Supreme Court petition contends that ruling hinged on two critical errors. First, it required the defendant to essentially prove his or her innocence instead of making the government prove that its investigation and prosecution had continued justification sufficient to expend appropriated funds. The filing says. Additionally, it adds the court failed to define the contours of that standard or provide appreciable guidance to criminal defendants as to how to demonstrate such substantial compliance.
Okay, so there.
So, in order to prove his argument, he has to say that the court was not trying to. Um, he, in order to win his argument, he has to prove that the investigation that the government and that the court is doing was how he specifically misappropriated funds. And then he also has to explain or show that what he was doing was not substantial compliance. However, earlier in the article, it does say that he was operating as a collective in terms of the way that his business did operate in the state of Maine. So while he personally says that, hey, we weren't operating as a collective within the way that the state defines a collective, a cannabis collective, um, it turns out that the court's investigation deemed that it was. So it's a little bit of a walk the line, you know. It's his word versus theirs at this point.
If you're in Maine, can you be insane in the membrane, Maine?
Oh, insane in the membrane.
Maine, insane in the membrane.
Insane in the brain.
In the brain. In the brain. Hits from the bong. That's all.
Don't run and fix the green thumb.
Stimming over here.
Just a little bit.
Me and my boy stimming.
Sometimes Jack Herr just gets you stimming a bit.
Additionally, it adds the court failed to define the contours. No, you already read that.
Thank goodness.
Fails the contours, bro.
Right, it's not.
Thank goodness I don't do that.
Oh, what the fuck?
Oh, he literally went like.
What do we tend to this? How do it that? Because I was not trying to hit at it. I was not trying to hit at it.
Lawyers for Soroy call that the outcome not tenable, writing that the brief, current, and prospective participants in Maine's medical marijuana program deserve clarity as to what showing must be made to establish substantial compliance. As for the split between First Circuit and Ninth Circuit, the petition says that while the First Circuit requires a defendant to show substantial compliance with state laws and regulations, the Ninth Circuit is case that in a related case said that individuals must demonstrate higher standard, strict compliance with state law. So the court is arguing, you have to absolutely adhere to these laws very strictly and be a guiding factor, be an example of someone who does comply really well in order to prove your case. So now you have to show like all your business practices are actually to be met with compliance. Therefore, we have a clear divergence between the two courts of appeals that have addressed it as the basic standard applicable to defendants seeking to enjoin prosecutions under the Rohrabacher-Farr Soroy petition says. This issue will be dispositive to many potential defendants and determine whether they will face an intrusive, disruptive, and lengthy criminal investigation and prosecution. So they're going to basically make an example out of this guy if they find that his business is not actually compliant with Maine's laws.
Yeah, fuck them.
Yeah, they
just hate
they being haters right now. They drank all the haterade that morning and left none
I
at the
said,
table
fuck
for
this
the
guy. He's
rest.
having too much. So he's having too much fun. He's enjoying himself way too much. Like, no, we gotta screw him over.
Furthermore, it asserts that while the First Circuit's substantial compliance test would sound more favorable to criminal defendants than the Ninth's strict compliance, neither provides potential criminal defendants with the protection Congress promised them via the amendment, and neither court has provided potential criminal defendants with any workable and predictable standard against which they could judge whether they could be subject to federal prosecution. So basically, unprecedented, uncharted waters. They need to figure it out.
Dude,
Can you not cough?
While
keep
I'm
it down.
getting while I'm getting done reading, please.
Keep it down.
I need there to be a good pause after I'm done for dramatic effect. Thank you.
I'm waiting for the dramatic pause.
Who's that from?
Futurama.
Yeah.
I never watched Futurama.
Yeah, my parents didn't let me.
Your parents didn't let you watch Futurama?
No, no Adult Swim or Comedy Central, really.
Wow.
So when we,
Oh,
when
you
we
missed
didn't get
out a
to see
lot.
it, we were like, I did get to see a lot of stand up, but obviously as a kid, like you're laughing at stuff because other people are laughing. You don't understand.
They're making sex jokes and you're acting like you know what they're talking about. You're like, ha 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 ha. Your mom's looking at you, kind of like, you know, and you're like, oh, I'm laughing because it's funny. Everyone's laughing.
Yeah.
Right? This is
It's this
what we
dick
do.
joke.
The famous story of Ricky saying, "Yeah, let's throw marijuana on the fire."
I feel like I got to understand that more because I got to have my own TV in my room,
You have no TV in my room.
and so I got away with watching whatever I wanted.
We did, but it didn't have. Oh no, it did have cable because we did watch Nickelodeon in the room. Yeah, I do remember that.
Table.
I had a TV in my room with cable, and it was up like between maybe 7 and 9 years old. And my mom didn't know that. in
Kids
the
don't even
middle
know what cable is anymore,
Yeah,
bro.
but my mom didn't know that in the middle of the night they play the like commercials for like Girl Gone Wild advertisements and stuff.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Definitely for those.
And
Never got to see anything though.
no, yeah, because it was always like
Just the
just the pop, wow, Zam, whatever over.
Wow, Zam.
Yeah, they would literally write that in like comic bubbles and stuff like
Yeah.
that as part of like the advertisements, like in the middle of the night, like at 2, 3 a.m. Like yeah, kids have access to a lot worse.
Spike TV.
Right? But Spike TV and stuff like that. But
Spike, I always knew for 1,000 Ways to Die.
for 2 years, I had cable in my room, and that was the coolest thing ever. You know, kind of just waking up. I probably found out like a year into having like cable in my room about that.
Dabbing?
Not dabbing.
Oh,
Yeah. The commercials in the middle of the night.
oh my
right?
bad. I thought you.
Because one night you just kind of wake up and you're like, I'm just gonna watch TV. Nobody's here to tell me no, right? And I just did.
That's what's
and
on
that
TV.
pops up in one of the channels that I'm surfing in the middle
Like,
of the night.
say
When,
what?
when you're stuck in like a sleeping position, just in case anybody comes in, you can switch it to the last button real quick. Like
I was not smart enough for that at seven. At 7 to 9 years
figured
old.
I figured out the last button real quick when I was young.
Well, when I was
That
9,
recall
my mom
button?
came in the room one time because for whatever fucking reason she was awake at that time at that hour and saw light coming
The
from my room.
worst.
Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah.
Put a towel under your.
You're like, every other night she's asleep. Every other night she's asleep.
Yeah.
Why is she like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Open up the door. What's going on in here? I was like,
You
I don't
pretend-
know. It was on TV.
Pretend you're sleeping.
Bruh, it's crazy to think that,
What?
That's why I was like, keep her like,
bro,
Like,
like kids like your kid aren't gonna really know how to like work the guide. Dude, I knew how to work the guide
Oh,
for
TV
TV.
guide? Yeah.
The TV guide. Yeah, no, it's all like YouTube stuff, and it's all now it's subscription based, so you can just like look through it like Netflix, which is kind of like the guide in a way, but just like it's more of like a hub, and less like a guide. You know what I mean?
But that's harder to get away with. Like,
What you looking like that, bro? That was creepy, bro. That was creepy as fuck. That was really creepy.
the guide.
That freaked me the fuck out.
I freaked him out. When homie takes rage bait.
The guide.
Or,
Yeah, he freaked me out.
I
don't know
freaked him
why. I
out
don't know
so
why
much.
it's so fucking-
Okay, so kids will never know the guide.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they could just sit there, be like laying with their with a phone or something, and just, be like, and just click it off real quick.
The kids aren't.
Off
Yeah.
their penis.
No, like turn off their phone so that you can't see if they're even like awake and watching it. It's not the same as like having to get away with, oh, like holding the remote, like, oh, it's late night. Are they gonna catch me watching this when I'm not supposed to? Like,
You want to know what?
you fall asleep with that button, be like, do you choose to hit the power button or like change the channel real quick and act like you're asleep?
You want to know what distinction that I just made? Ray, which is the kid that I just coached in basketball. Um, he was a COVID kid. He was in kindergarten doing online classes for kindergarten, bro.
That's crazy.
Bruh.
That was his introduction.
That was his introduction into school, bro. All those kids that I just coached, that was more than likely their introduction to school.
You know, those kids have it so rough because when you really think about it, not being able to start school in a traditional aspect, you know, can be very difficult. I mean, there was kids who already had a difficult enough time with school, and then all of a sudden they have to do everything learning through a computer. Some kids thrived, some kids struggled, you know, and I knew a lot of kids that struggled, right? A lot of family members, little cousins that they just couldn't, like, they were having such a hard time with their grades because learning through the computer is was just so difficult for them
Bruh.
and their family.
Everybody that went to like college or high school during that time that wanted like a traditional graduation, bruh, all
Oh
got
yeah.
fucked over. And so many people wanted to be like a petition to get like we deserve our graduation, you know what I mean? Like we got fucked over for it. And I wouldn't blame them, honestly.
It's a tricky subject because as a kid, you're really like me,
Uh-huh.
right? And not really able to see the bigger picture, right? Of like, hey, look, like, yes, it does suck that you guys get fucked over. You guys don't have a graduation this year, but
It's not even that big of a deal at the
it's
end of
yeah,
the day. Like, oh, you guys are all getting your fucking
Like, you're
money.
so good. You're just trying to figure
yeah.
out some way to
Flip
hang
it,
out or do
flip it.
something.
You're the only generation, or
Honestly, high school graduation is fucking
You're not gonna.
stupid,
yeah.
bro. High school graduation is stupid.
Yeah.
You flip it. You say, "Hey, look, okay, well, these kids who are graduating that time period, they're the ones that get to have their entire graduation done digitally, and then make a creative effort out of it." I don't know. You just gotta
School is
flip
so fucking easy. You haven't even fucking tried.
Bro, I would much rather, bro. I don't, dude. If graduation isn't mandatory, which I don't think it is, if graduation fucking like the walking graduation, yeah, I would be like, yo, we're fucking leaving. I ain't walking, and I'm not going, bro. I graduate. I got my diploma. I'm good. Let's go to let's go somewhere if we want to celebrate this shit. Fuck walking. Walking is so stupid. Doing the practice for graduation. I never even had to do it. Stupid, bro.
I walked.
You gotta
Yeah.
sit in the fucking heat for like.
Actually, I had a good experience with mine only because of my situation.
Well, yeah,
Because like
I was on the West Coast, so.
no,
on
for,
the
for me
West
just because of
Coast.
like shit that like had happened. Like I wasn't like
He was proud to graduate.
I was like I wasn't in my normal high school for like the last I felt like there was a bubble in my throat. I wasn't like in my high school for like the last year and a half of my graduation. I was in a separate school because like after like I had gotten in a car accident and shit, like I didn't end up like back in like my regular school because some like, teenage problems and shit. But so when I finally surprisingly got invited to actually walk with my class at my actual high school, I showed up and there was half of my graduating class that because of I wasn't really friends with a lot of them. They genuinely thought that like I was dead because all they knew was that I got hit by a car. So when I showed up there and like half of them were like kind of like shocked and like weirded out, I was like, it kind of and like I don't know. It was cool, like the reactions from some people. And I was like, oh shit, like, maybe a couple more people cared than like I really gave it than I thought. But then actually walking and like hearing some of my friends there, and because a lot of them didn't expect me to be there, like show up there or anything, was actually kind of cool.
Okay, so my question, you you received a lot of like, oh, we thought you were dead, right? And what you received out of that was, oh, they cared about me.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
at least
okay.
out of a few people, not
Yeah, yeah.
everyone.
Uh-huh.
There was a few though that I was like, oh, like you actually thought that, but for some reason didn't ever fucking think to check though. So
Didn't think to verify that
it was
information.
still like 50-50, you know what I mean? But I was like, it's bittersweet. So I'm like, it was still like, but oh, you gave a shit, and like we, kept in touch for a little while after that. You know what I mean? So like it was like, oh, I got to reconnect with some old people that I didn't mind, but there was a lot of people in my graduating class that I just didn't give a fuck with. I fucked with like the class for some reason, like right below me, and like everyone that already graduated.
Would you ever go to a high school reunion?
Oh, yeah,
Would I?
I probably would. I'd probably go to my high school.
I'd be curious too. At least one of them.
Exactly. I would have to travel to go to mine, and plus, like, I didn't graduate from either of the high schools that I mainly went to. The one that I graduated from, I went to the high school I graduated from. I went to for a month. I I I started high school at the week of prom at a high school
At RV.
at RV.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like the end of the year.
He got screwed over.
Yeah. So how would I have like a fucking high school reunion for neither colleges or not neither high schools that I actually graduated from, but I majority went to. Crazy to think about.
You just go. Go the
You
one.
just show up, guys.
Go the one that you majority went to.
Well, if
The one where you have the most
were to
friends.
choose, yeah. Or the
So none of them.
I would just go just to mainly show up, be like, yeah, motherfuckers, look where I'm at. And half of you
Well,
thought I would probably just
it would have been it would have been it would have been my first school. It would have been my first school because I went there up until for the first semester of junior year. And then the second semester junior I transferred. And then I spent the rest of senior year. I spent the rest of the senior year at the other school. So it was only a year and a half at the last school. And then not even the full year and a half. Crazy.
I went to the same school. All 4 years.
Well, it's almost like your brothers.
Whoa. It's almost like I'm not a fucking loser.
I graduated from the same school he did, but like it isn't even like I went to that school.
Yeah, he went there for like 10 days.
Yeah, it didn't feel like it. And I didn't dude, I kept my headphones in for every class.
10 days. Might as well have been 9.
Might as well have been 0.
I got lit every day. Oh my god, every
You
day
got
before
lit?
school was the best. And I was on crutches at the time because I just fucked up my knee.
Reoccurring thing here.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
I'm trying to make sure my knees don't give out on me before that's why I'm trying to hit the gym right now. Right? So that way my knees and my back aren't a problem. My back was starting to get a problem. I was feeling the old man
Yeah, bro.
back setting kind of.
When you gonna work out? When you gonna work out with us, bro?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, every day. What the fuck?
I've been starting to look around. I've been starting to look at reviews for doctors in the area that work with my insurance.
There you go. Good. There we go. Get with your insurance.
And he's like,
We needed Chris Hand to get better. We need him because
we need Chris Hand to get better.
we need Chris Hand. We need Chris.
My wrist.
We need Chris. Steady hand from surgery. Actually, I probably should do that.
Give it to us on us. How is it? Even though this is a HIPAA violation.
What?
It's not bad, honestly. It's livable and workable.
Christy's wrist.
I'm a HIPAA violation.
Yeah.
You're a walking OSHA violation.
Oh, ocean. That's what I thought we were talking about. I thought we were talking about the ocean because his
Right.
name's Lotion.
So
LaShawn. No more info, please.
Are we keeping anything going? Are we doing anything else? Do we want to cut it? Do we feel like entertaining people tonight, or do we want to cut it? Do you guys feel like
Entertaining? You mean like?
Do you guys feel like chilling
You
after?
mean like?
Cut it? Or
That kind of entertainment?
Marco's been working out.
do you guys want to cut it? Do you guys?
I'm already cut, so
I'm down to Cuddy.
I'm already cut.
I'm
Marco's
getting
the
cut.
only. Okay, so
What?
I'm just like,
I'm getting there.
You want to Cuddy?
I'm getting there.
well, I mean, we can just cut it. Yeah, we can just cut it. We can just cut it.
Thank you for joining us on Talking High Culture tonight. Thank you for joining us, Smoking the Jack Herrera. Going. Thank you for going through history with us, figure out a little bit more history behind what we smoke, what we ingest, what we consume, what we enjoy about cannabis, all things cannabis culture here in Talking High Culture. And smoke went out for us. Rest in pot, Jack Herrera.
Like